Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Nishtita, and first up, the much anticipated sandalwood blockbuster Power Star starring Puneet Rajkumar and Trisha has hit a censor roadblock. The movie was supposed to be released on the 27th of this month, but the censor certificate issue has been casting its shadow on the entire project. My colleague Priya joins us with more details on this. Well, Priya, certainly the Power Star feeling powerless now.
Indeed, Nisita, quite a shocking fact this, because over the last few weeks we've been seeing a lot of movies run into this particular trouble, considering the censor board is not really functional in Karnataka right now. Now, last week also we had a similar story come out about Sharan Adyaksha, the film that finally saw the light of the day on Friday. We are still unsure if Power will release this particular week, because there is again the same issue of the censor board not functioning in Karnataka. So maybe if the Mumbai censor board does intervene and give it a certification, then yes, we will probably see the movie released this week. But considering it's already Monday and latest by Thursday it all needs to be sorted out, we need to indeed watch this to see if the censor board will intervene and certify this particular film, Nisita.
Right, and also we understand that it's not just Power Star, but we also have several other such movies which are getting piled on because of the censor board officials not being available, something that the board should have taken care of before putting the movies in such a situation.
Indeed, Nishita, now this has been an ongoing debate for quite a few weeks, rather months now, considering that the same incident happened with Sharan just barely two to 3 days ago. We would expect something bigger and better to happen, considering it's a Puneet Rajkumar film. Now, with this particular movie, also it is one of the much-awaited films. The festive season has just kicked in. So yes, indeed, the producers will be looking at a huge collection. So probably if the producers do approach the Mumbai Censor Board, it would be much easier for them as well. But considering that this was somewhat expected, considering so many movies have run into trouble in the last few weeks, we suppose the only solution now would be for those in Mumbai to step in and help out with the censor certification. But besides that, there isn't much that can be done, considering the censor chief is currently indisposed in Karnataka, Nisita.
But also any word from the filmmakers on this front, considering that they are the ones who are suffering losses at the end of the day. Even the board can give as many reasons as it wants to, but at the end of the day, it is the movie makers who are suffering the losses.
Indeed, Nisita. Now, a little bit of background into this movie would be that this is the remake of Dukudu, which was a very popular Telugu movie. And considering it is a remake, also the fact that it's a very awaited film, yes, the makers must be under a lot of pressure right now to make sure that the movie hits the screens on the designated date. Also, the fact that it is an extended weekend means a huge amount of business. So we are hoping that the movie does get certified, besides the fact that the fans will be hugely disappointed, along with the movie makers who invested a lot of time and money into this particular project. Yes, indeed, we are sure that the makers will move to Mumbai to actually get the censor certification done before the designated date. We should have some good news latest by Wednesday that the movie is indeed hitting the screens, Nishita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Priya. Well, the reason for the delay is that there is no one in the state censor board to give the certificate. Sandalwood has been taking its movies to Mumbai for the censor board certificate. However, with the arrest of the censor board CEO Rakesh Kumar, all the movies have been delayed. And moving on now, the High Court has rapped the state government and the Pollution Control Board for the increase in sound, air and water pollution. The court has sent a notice to the BMTC and the KSRTC regarding the same. The court has said that the action taken by the concerned authorities with regard to the pollution control is not satisfactory. It has also said that it will recommend to the government to supersede the KSPCB if there is no action on ground. My colleague Varghese joins us with more details on this. Well, Varghese, some substantial action probably now can be initiated by the government?
Well, this is very important to note that the government has been pulled up for a very important issue that the city has been facing. In fact, the High Court has rapped the KS Karnataka State Pollution Control Board on 3 accounts. In fact, it has said, why is there an increase in the levels of sound and creating sound pollution, air pollution, water resources getting contaminated, and what is the actual function of the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board? In fact, any industry that has to be set up in the state of Karnataka will have to get a Karnataka State Pollution Control Board certificate. It's not only that, even high-rises in the city will have to get that sort of a certificate. But the High Court said it is quite upset with the functioning of the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, and it has slammed the government also with regards to it. It's asked, why is it that proper action is not being taken with regards to the matter, and it has in fact said that a kind of a clear warning sign to the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board that if proper action is not taken, even after this particular censure that has come against it, then it will decide whether to advise the government to supersede the Pollution Control Board, so that there could be efforts that could be implemented in ensuring that the pollution is under check. In fact, the court went on also to add statistics with regards to the quality of air that the city is having. It is not only that, Nishita, even transport organizations like the KSRTC as well as the BMTC has been slapped with notices. So clearly the High Court taking the issue quite seriously and want the government as well as the Pollution Control Board to take action on the ground as fast as possible, Nishita.
Right, absolutely. And also now, finally, there is talk being done of the KSPCB being superseded for time and again, despite a certain amount of restricted powers in the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. They complained of not having enough authority to actually punish those responsible for breaching all the rules that have been put in place. So will we see the government finally take some serious action in this matter?
Well, there are two issues in this, Nishita. One we should understand is from the point of view of the government itself. The government doesn't want to be taking over the autonomous character of the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. But at the same time, with this censure coming in place, it looks like the government will have to look at probabilities of, in fact, effectively making the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board an effective machine which could, in fact, check the pollution. As you rightly mentioned, the kind of power that is required by the Pollution Control Board is actually quite there, but the fact remains that there has been corruption also within the system. As any new industry or building coming in the city, even with regards to transport department, there is a lot of interventions by the Pollution Control Board, but effectively implementing it on the ground has been the challenge. So probably the High Court is referring to this lack of implementation of schemes that are already in existence, and that is why it's asking the government to ensure that it is done, Nishita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Varghese. Well, there we have it. The High Court is questioning the state government as to why there is no check on pollution. It has also raised questions on KSRTC and the BMTC. Let's not forget that time and again, the KSPCB as well as several other reports have pointed out how projects like the TTMCs have only caused more damage, and the level of pollution inside these TTMCs is far higher, and there is absolutely nothing being done by the state government except sit on these reports. The High Court this time around went a step further and said that the KSPCB can be superseded if action needs to be taken by the government. And well, Julian Assange, the whistleblower who created quite a furor across the world, is addressing the media live. Let's cut across and listen to what he has to say.
El 19 de junio, 54 organizaciones, incluido Human Rights Watch, la ACLU, el Centro de Derechos Constitucionales de Estados Unidos, se dirigieron al fiscal general de Estados Unidos para decir que había llegado el momento de poner fin a esa investigación agresiva por parte del Ministerio de Justicia estadounidense hacia Wikileaks y a mi persona. Esta investigación pone en peligro a todos los editores, a todos los periodistas. Hasta ahora no ha habido una respuesta por parte del Ministerio de Justicia de Estados Unidos, pero podemos especular en cuanto al legado que va a dejar la administración Obama continuando con una...
According to the FBI, a file now of more than 42,000 pages for its own prosecution. Okay, so with that, I think we should open up to questions because the minister does not have much time.
Julian, can you identify yourself first, please? Se identifican los periodistas, por favor, con la
Julian Boat from Australian Associated Press. Mr. Assange, can you address the report this morning that you're considering surrendering yourself, that Sky's term, and that's due to ongoing heart conditions, lung condition, and also chronic high blood pressure?
I understand.
We're taking 3 questions.
Oh, 3 questions.
Sí, que es una ronda de 3 preguntas de 3 periodistas. Identify.
My name is Parvati Menon and I work for an Indian newspaper called The Hindu. I would like to ask His Excellency on what we can expect.
Well, Assange going on to state that it has been 4 years since the US Department of Justice has been investigating him, but there is nothing substantial that they have found and he has not been charged with anything. Is what Julian Assange has gone on to state. It has been close to 2 years since he has been holed up inside a central London building, and he cannot leave the building as he will be arrested immediately if he does so. Julian Assange gained notoriety for his WikiLeaks website, which managed to access secret government cables and release it to the media. The government cables were not restricted to the US alone, but touched upon many other countries, including India. The Australian has also gone on to state quite recently that he wants to surrender. In fact, a few of the people who interacted with him, a few of the journalists who interacted with him said that Assange seems to have been completely dispirited and his fighting spirit seems to have gone out of him. The 43-year-old has been investigated by the US authorities since WikiLeaks published the leaked military and diplomatic documents in 2010. He was granted asylum in 2012 and is facing an arrest warrant in Sweden over allegations that he sexually assaulted 2 women that he has strongly denied. He said that he does not want to go to Sweden because he fears that he would be extradited to the US for questioning. But now, after 2 years of being in hiding and after 4 years of constant investigations on part of the US government, it seems like Julian Assange wants to end this ordeal, and he has gone on to say that he is being unnecessarily punished and that he has human rights and that he wants to, that he could be putting forth his idea of wanting to surrender as well as what is being said. And moving on now, a leopard that had fallen into a well was rescued by the forest officials in Vadodara and Gujarat. In yet another case of man-animal conflict, this big cat, which had ventured into a village in search of food and water, accidentally fell into a well, but forest officials were immediately called in, who managed to rescue the leopard by dropping a charpai into the well that the leopard readily latched onto. There was also a snake inside the well. Had the leopard been left inside for more amount of time, probably it could have died as well, but fortunately for this big cat, he was rescued right on time. These were the dramatic rescue scenes that were witnessed in Vadodara, but of course it was quite a tricky task for the officials to pull out the leopard and to ensure that it does not hurt anyone. And after several hours of keeping the leopard in the safe place of charpai right hanging in mid-air, it was pulled up and rescued successfully.